Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be taking you through an ab routine to help you get shredded just in time for the summer. This is week 13 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine. And for today, we're going to be progressing some of the exercises. We are going to need some mats and we're going to need a kettlebell. And with regard to today's routine, this is intended for intermediates. And if you don't want to wait for the entire 6-month program, consider becoming a member, as I have the entire 6-month program outlined in my community tab. But with regard to the setup position for the exercises, we're going to be in a supine position, meaning we're going to be laying down on our back. And for this exercise, the way we're going to progress the abdominal curl up is we are going to bring the fingertips at the mastoid process, so right around the temple. So you're going to lay down on your back. You want your legs nice and straight, and then you want your spine, so your lumbar spine, your thoracic spine, your chin, all flat on the curve. And then once you have your fingertips, you're going to place them at your mastoid process. And then for this exercise right over here, what we want to do is we are going to tuck our chin toward our chest, and then we're going to round our thoracic spine so that we create a C-shaped curve with our spine. And we want to try and round it and go one vertebrae at a time. So we're tucking in the chin, and then coming straight up, curling up to the top, straighten out at the top. And then on the bottom, we're going to reverse it. So we are going to bend, we're going to curve the spine, and we're going to touch the L5, L4, L3, L2, L1, all the way back down. So again, we're tucking the chin, lifting up the thoracic spine, the lumbar spine, coming straight up, and then coming back down. For this one right over here, what we want to do is one set of 50 repetitions. Once we've completed one set of 50 for the rectus abdominis, or the abdominal curl up, we're going to move on to the external obliques, the supra-umbilical fibers, so the upper fibers. We're going to flex the knees and hips. We want the knees at approximately 90 degrees. And then what we want to do is with one arm, we're going to cup the opposite shoulder. With the opposite arm, we are going to place the arm mid-thigh, so right in between the ilium and the knee. And then what we want to do for this one right over here is we're going to go into positive torsion. So we're doing a combination of flexion with rotation. So imagine you're trying to bring your elbow toward your mid-thigh. So we're going to go ahead, come up to the level of the umbilicus, so right around the level of the L3, and then come back down. For this one, we're not coming all the way up because we're focusing specifically on the supra-umbilical fibers. And that is the exercise for the supra-umbilical fibers of the external oblique. For that one, we're also going to do one set of 50 repetitions. Then we're going to move on to the next exercise, which is going to be the strengthening exercise for the transverse abdominis, or your TVA. For this one, we're going to start by taking a big belly breath in. We're going to inhale, expand the belly toward the sky. And then we're going to exhale and allow the belly to sink down toward the spine. Then we're going to inhale, and as we inhale, we want to keep the belly button tucked in. We don't want to let it raise. That's going to be our first pass. Exhale, sink deeper toward the spine. That's pass number 2. Now, we're going to inhale again, keep that belly tucked in. Exhale, let it sink deeper toward the spine. That's pass 3. We're going to do 5 total passes, so 2 more. Inhale, keep that belly tucked in. Exhale, sink deeper. And 1 final pass. Inhale. And exhale. Let's try and sink as deep toward the spine as we can. Then we're going to inhale and relax. So we're going to reset. So 5 breaths counts as 1 set. That's 1 pass. We're going to do 3 total passes, so 3 total sets of 5 breaths. Then, once we've completed that, it's time to move on to the sub-umbilical work. So the first one, we're going to do the sub-umbilical fibers of the rectus abdominis, so the lower abdominals. We want the arms at the glenohumeral angle, so that's anywhere from 90 to 135 degrees, depending on your physiology. And then with the hips and knees, we're going to flex them to 90 degrees. And for this one over here, what we want to do is we are going to bring the knees up toward the sky in a straight line. So we're just going to raise the hips up off the ground and then come back down. We want to go as high as the level of the L3. We don't need to go any higher than that. And the first time that you do this, you may not be able to get your butt right up off the ground, but as you develop more and more strength, you will be able to. But just have the intention of bringing your knees up toward the sky. And you want to make sure that you're going straight up. You don't want to bring the knees into flexion, and you don't want to bring the hips into extension. You want to make sure that they remain perpendicular to the ground the entire time. For that one, we're going to do 1 set of 40 repetitions. Then we're going to move on to the subumbilical fibers of the external obliques, so the lower external obliques. And for this one right over here, we're going to do the same thing with the arms, placing them at the glenohumeral angle. With the hip, we want one leg, the hip and knee at 90 degrees. And then with the opposite leg, we're going to go into adduction of 30 to 45 degrees by crossing the hip over the thigh. Then for this one right over here, what we're doing is we are going once again into positive torsion. So we're doing a combination of flexion and rotation by trying to bring the hip toward the opposite shoulder. For this one, because it's the subumbilical fibers, once again, we're only going to the level of the L3, but that is it for the subumbilical fibers of the external oblique. And for this one, we are doing one set of 40 repetitions, and then we're going to finish off with some strengthening exercise for the thoracic diaphragm. For that one, we're going to place a kettlebell onto the belly button, and then we're going to inhale, raise the belly button up toward the sky, and then exhale, allow the belly to sink down deep toward the spine. So we're inhaling, and exhaling. We're going to do 20 total repetitions, and that is it for week 13 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine. So right again, we're going to do a quick recap. We've got the abdominal curl up. We're going to do one set of 50 repetitions. Then we have the supra-umbilical external oblique fibers. We're going to do one set of 50. We're going to do 3 total sets of 5 passes for the transverse abdominis strengthening exercise. Then we're going to finish off with one set of 40 for the subumbilical rectus abdominis, so the knees up to the sky, one set of 40 for the subumbilical external obliques, and then we're going to finish off with one set of 20 with the kettlebell for the thoracic diaphragm strengthening. But that is it for week 13 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine. And then next week, I'm going to be taking you through week 14.